Hi, second graders. Mrs. Herman-Sater here, and I am going to work with you on your reading for today. So our read aloud story is called Flashlight Fears. I want you to take a second and take a look at the picture on the cover of the story and think for a minute. Can you make a prediction about what you think this story might be about? So I'm thinking that the title says Flashlight Fears, and I notice that it looks like they seem to be in some type of cave, and I notice a rope and like a hard hat type helmet and another instrument. So I'm thinking that the story must be something about a flashlight and hiking or being in a cave. Okay, so hopefully your prediction was maybe similar to mine, maybe it was different, and it's totally fine if it's not the same. I'm going to go forward a little bit, and then we're going to go backwards and read this story. But I want to jump ahead and show you this page. So this is the page that we're going to work on after we finish reading, okay? And it tells us the key question for this story. It says, you can read it with me up here at the top. It says, how are the characters and setting connected in a story? Let me read it one more time. How are the characters and setting connected in a story? So as we're reading, I want you to think about the characters that are in the story and the setting and how are they connected together. And we know the characters refer to the people that are in the story, or it might be animals. And then the setting would be where the story is taking place. Okay, so we're going to come back to this page and fill it in a little bit after we read the story. So now we're going to scroll back up, and here it is again. So, Flashlight Fears. And you can read along with me as I read. I'll try not to go too fast. Angelina tossed and turned. The morning lights would be on soon. Living underground was always an adventure, but today was different. Good morning, said Mom. You have a big day. I couldn't sleep, yawned Angelina. Come eat your breakfast. You don't want to be late. Caverna, Angelina's village, was built deep in the earth. Now that she was 10 years old, Angelina would spend half her day with the explorers. Explorers investigated tunnels around the village in search of food and water. They often found amazing surprises like caves covered in gemstones and underground waterfalls. So let's pause before we turn the page and talk about what we've read so far. So one of the things I want to point out is that I noticed that there are several words that are compound words. For example, underground. That is a compound word. Breakfast is another compound word. And I think I spy one more down here. There it is. Gemstones, another compound word. So let's pause for a second and think. We met two characters in the story so far. Think for a second. Yep, one is Angelina and the other is her mom. They also told us a little bit about the setting. So they told us Angelina's village, and its name is Caverna, and it's built deep in the earth. Okay, so let's move on to the next page to see what happens for Angelina. While exciting, the job was also a little frightening. Electric lights lit up the village, but tunnels were dark. Explorers carried flashlights. If you dropped your light, you had to walk behind your group with only shadows to guide you. Angelina had nightmares about dropping her flashlight. "What if I lose my light?" asked Angelina suddenly. "Don't worry, dear," said Mom. In bounced Angelina's brother Roberto. "I'm so glad I didn't miss you." "I'm still here. I wouldn't leave without saying goodbye." Angelina ruffled Roberto's hair. "I have a present for you." Angelina took a bundle from Roberto. It was wrapped in tissue with lots of tape. "Thanks, buddy," she said, while peeling through sticky layers. Inside were two braided chains, one long and one short. Each had a metal clip attached. Angelina looked confused. "They're flashlight holders. I made them myself. You wear one around your neck and one on your wrist. Each one holds your flashlight so you can't drop it. I also want to give you my flashlight. Then you'll have two, just in case," smiled Roberto. Angelina could hardly believe it. She smiled and wiped away tears. "You're the best," she said, hugging Roberto close. "Now I'm not afraid at all." Okay, and so before we move on, we'll look down here real quick, and it says, "Did you know caverna is the Spanish word for cavern? A cavern is a large cave or underground chamber." I'm going to pop back up to this page for a second. So I continue to read straight through from page 2 to page 3, but on page 2, actually, that's okay, page 2. Um, we meet another character, and it's Angelina's little brother, and his name is Roberto. And you can tell that Angelina and Roberto are good friends. Angelina's brother Roberto was very happy that she had not left yet. He wanted to be able to have a chance to say goodbye to her and give her a special present. And then we move on to the next page, and it shows us there's actually a picture of what the special present was. And you can tell as we read along that Angelina was really happy, and she also felt very relieved to know that she would have the flashlight holders and not only have one flashlight holder, but have two. And I think one of the clues, if you think for a second as we read down towards the last paragraph, it says, "Angelina could hardly believe it. She smiled and wiped away tears." So earlier in the story, she was telling her mom how she felt so nervous. So I think that the tears are connected to how she was feeling. She was feeling a sense of relief, and she hugged her brother super tight and said, "Now I'm not afraid at all." Okay, so let's take a look at this page. I'm going to get you started on it, and then you can work on it. You can either work on it now with me, or you can work on it a little bit later. So again, the key question says, how are the characters and setting connected in a story? And tells you, on your own, read the key question. Then read the story. Look for details in the story that help you answer the key question. Circle or underline these details. Now, look back at the story. Add the details you circled or underlined to the story chart below. So, seems like I was giving you a lot of directions all at one time. So the first thing we needed to do was read the key question. And I'll read that one more time. How are the characters and setting connected in a story? we read the story, but you certainly can go back and read the story again. And this time when you're reading it, look for the details that help you answer that key question. How are the characters and the setting connected in the story? Once you finish circling or underlining those details, you can then work your way down here on the paper to fill in the details on this story chart. So up here where it says title, you'll type in the title, and then this is the spot for characters, and this is the spot for the setting. So we know that the title's Flashlight Fears, and the characters are Angelina, her mom, and her brother Roberto. And then our setting, it seems like they're at their home, but then they talk also about the village where she lives, Angelina's home in the village, and then also about how she's going to go off and be exploring in the caves in the caverna. So you can talk about the setting in this spot. And then what was the problem in our story? Think for a minute. Angelina, right? She was very nervous and worried about losing her flashlight and being nervous about being in the dark with the other explorers. And I want you to think about what you're going to write for the solution. I don't want to tell you all of the answers. I want you to have to think a little bit on your own. After you finish filling in the problem and solution, you're going to go down to the last part. Here, number 3 says, think about the key question. Write your answer to the key question using information you found in the story you read. And so down here in this rectangle box, you will type in the actual answer to the question. And the information that we used up here in our story chart will help you be able to form complete sentences to write your answer to the key question. Okay, so how are the characters and setting connected in the story? And down here, you can begin by saying the characters and setting are connected in this story, and then tell us how. Thanks for letting me read with you. I hope you have a great day. Bye.